Hello. Just testing my microphone. Test, test, test. Looks like we are live. Thanks, all you Splinterheads. Thanks for dropping by. Let's talk some Splinterlands. Let's talk some Golem Overlord. Whatever y'all want to talk about. There's lots of things on the plate today. I think the big thing, obviously, is going to be Rebellion, right? We also had Yixn's trinkets this last week within Golem Overlord. Hey, Ghostly. Thanks for dropping by. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. So we can go on. I think the majority of... In Splinterlands, I've kind of been in a holding pattern, getting prepared for Rebellion, and also keeping my eye on land. But hey, Geeked Out Basketball, thanks for dropping by. Appreciate everybody's time. Stop by and talk about some Hive blockchain gaming. So yeah, I think I've been in kind of a holding pattern, but with that said, I've been preparing for Rebellion, which the pre-sale obviously will start this Monday. Hey, Gathering, thanks for dropping by. Good morning. Curious if you anticipate a lot of power creep when Rebellion launches. Will Chaos Legion and Rift Watcher be relegated to second-class citizens? I don't think so. And the reason I say that is because I think that their play testing would have to include making sure that the power creep isn't too bad. Obviously, in these type of games, if you played card games, if you played even online games, after they have several expansions, you start to see the power creep. And it is real in some cases and worse in some cases. And I think the better the play testing that goes into the expansion, which I think that they've had plenty of time to play test and kind of moderate the stats and everything. I'm hoping it's not too bad. I don't think it will be. I do think that as time goes along, we've always known that the upper end, the higher mana games, matches are harder to fill out. With Rift Watchers, we've seen several different cards, the higher mana cards that are going towards, filling in that like 60 to 100 mana. I don't see those matches a lot because currently I'm playing in gold. Now I used to play in diamond, or let me restate that. My Archmage bot used to play my account in diamond, and I would see a lot more 100 mana matches, right? I don't see those as much in gold. I see mostly kind of lower matches, and up to 55, 60, something like that. I usually don't see over that. But with that said, Rift Watchers introduced a lot of higher mana cards, and I do intend on seeing. I think that the Rebellion will have more of those higher end cards, but and I'm looking forward to the new powers that they announced. I have that page up. Let's look at the new powers. Okay, here we go. Armored Strike, Corrosive Ward, Flank, and Lockout. Of those new powers, none of those seemed OP to me, if you know what I mean. I think they seem very balanced, and they seem very cool from a strategic aspect. So we'll have to wait and see what the cards they actually bring out are. The two cards that they announced look pretty good. They don't seem OP to me. Obviously, Mantaroth looks like a big old hulking tank and looks like he's going to be good, but it doesn't look overpowered to me. So as far as the power creep question, I guess my answer is I hope that it's play tested well enough that we are going to encounter a little bit of power creep, but it's not too bad. That's my long-winded answer. Curious to see if the rare summoners are dual splinter and if they will have the pre-battle buff ability or only the legendary ones will. I'm just going by what he was talking about on the town hall / town square, whatever you want to call it. He said the majority of the summoners are going to be dual splinter. Obviously, that's still in the works, and obviously, they're going to have the contest to see, if you're one of the top end buyers of packs, you get to design your own splinter. But the way he said it is the majority of the summoners will be dual splinters. And if you watched a video from mine, it was last week sometime, I'm really psyched about that, because one of the things I liked in playing Magic and the Gathering back in the day, pre-Ice Age, revised era, I loved dual lands. They were one of my favorite things. In fact, at that point, I had like 5 sets of dual lands. Do I still have them? No. Do I wish I still had them? Yes. But hindsight's always 20/20. But I draw that inference because I am seeing dual splinter summoners very much like dual lands in Magic, right? They accomplish much the same thing. Now, with that said, going back to Geeked Out Basketball's question about power creep, and the question that comes to mind, and we were talking about, everybody's kind of been talking about and brought up in town square or town hall, is that when these new dual splinter summoners coming out, are they going to kind of like replace all the other summoners? And his answer to that was he doesn't think so, because he's going to put a higher mana cost on that. So obviously we know from playing that if you have to spend 6 or 7 mana to get a summoner out, that's going to kind of relegate that to higher mana matches, right? That's obvious. Because on the lower mana matches, a few extra mana, you get a card or 2 extra out there, could be all the difference, right? So that remains to be seen. This is all speculation, right? But then that opens the door to new tactics, right? Because we may, up to now, we have not really seen, except for playing Dragon with other splinters, we have not seen tactical combinations of different splinters that are getting ready to come out, right? We may have 2 different colors or 2 different splinters that, when combined, are overpowered. So hopefully they will have been play tested. You can obviously kind of look at the different splinters and see what the combinations are going to be. Just like in Magic, you could see the combinations of dual lands. But like we said, you can do all the play testing you want on a game, or whether it's a card game, whether it's a regular game in beta or whatever. But until they hit the live, until those cards go into the wild, as it were, we're not going to see all the possible combinations. And there are some people out there that are better than others. I'm not even pretending to be one of those guys that's a top-end player, but there are going to be people out there that find the combinations, and there are going to be people out there right now that are already looking at the splinter combinations that they're wanting. So you can look at your own collection, and you can look at powers that you like to play and rule sets you like to play, and you can also look at your collection and look at the different splinters and find those combinations of cards that you think are going to go together well, and get prepared. And that all leads into the pre-sale, right? And kind of making your plan as to how many packs you're going to buy, because this is going to be a completely different, what do I want to say? It's going to be a completely different evolution than what Chaos Legion or Rift Watchers were. Now, I'm not talking about, just how many you're going to buy, but I'm going to talk, the new things in play. I thought about it a lot over this last week since they announced it, and I've been going around because, it's completely different tactics as far as getting airdrops, but it may end up being the same result, as far as you have to buy a ton of packs to get any airdrops. So Being one of those guys that doesn't buy a ton of packs, I'm still kind of I'm going to buy card packs for the sake of being able to play the cards and everything, and for the sake of being able to stake possibly. But I think I'm still going to end up being in that category of lower end pack buyers, where it's going to be more efficient just to buy the cards you want when they hit the market, right? Because even if I say go in and buy 100 packs, which would get me what, extra five packs or something rather, and for instance, if I went ahead and staked those 100 packs, my percentage chance of getting an airdrop may still be very, very small. So that leads me to believe that it might be just worth it just to buy some packs, whatever packs, like he says, buy the packs you want to buy and play with and stake, and then, just buy whatever cards you want to on the market, right? Which even with Chaos Legion in the argument, it's always been that way to me, right? It's always been much more efficient just to buy singles on the market strategically of cards that you want to increase the strength of your deck, right, than it is to just buy packs. I think a lot of us buy packs. Obviously the whole Chaos League promotion was completely a little bit aside, but I think a lot of us, we're pack buyers. We like to open packs. I like to do videos, but my videos where I open packs seem to do a little bit better than my other videos, so it's a thing, and if you're a card player, you like to open packs, but it's kind of like gambling. It's nice. You open a few packs, you get a legendary. It's a spike in adrenaline or whatever you want to call it. But for pure deck building and hand strength building, you got to buy singles. Let's see. Let me catch up here. I kind of went off on a tangent there, Gathering. Hope there is a death water summoner. I love blue black. It's one of my all-time old favorites. So I'm right there with you, and I would think they would have to be. That would be, to me, that would be one of the major combinations. So I mean, it will. I guess we'll see. Obviously, since we don't have any information, and to a certain point, some of this is not even made yet, right? I'm sure they have, things in place to be able to, as soon as the winners are chosen or the winners are found from the pre-sales, then to immediately go into an evolution of creating those cards. But I'm sure, the artwork might be kind of semi in place. And we can talk about the artwork here in a minute. Alex, I've been getting my Chaos deck maxed price is good. Don't buy packs. Hey, Richard. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, like I said, Alex, it's always been a position of packs are just kind of fun to open, and in this case, he's added more things to do with packs as far as staking to get airdrops and such. And we've moved away from, well, we haven't moved completely away because there are still incentives to buy large amounts of packs, and there's still going to be people that buy the large amounts of packs, whether you buy it for investment purposes, whether you're buying them to get the airdrop cards, what have you. Me, I've always just bought a low amount of packs just to be able to open packs and such. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm on the same page with Alex here that that the Chaos cards, Chaos Legion cards, are still a great buy. And for people I was talking to my brother the other day and mentioning this, for people coming into the game right now, Chaos Legion, and this kind of goes back out to Geek's question earlier, the question about the new set relegating Chaos Legion and Riftwatcher to second class. I don't think that's going to happen, because I still think there's strong value, especially if you're just coming into the game, in buying Chaos Legion cards and getting them up in level so you can have a good base for adding, the new Rebellion cards to, or the new Riftwatcher cards, whatever you want to buy, as far as what your strategy is. Obviously, most of us don't have At least I don't have enough money to buy them all. So I'm still in a position where I do need to level a lot of my Chaos Legion cards. A lot of my commons are sitting at level 6. I need to get them to level 8. I had strategically originally leveled them to 6 because most of them got that secondary, that extra power at level 6, right? I do need to, one of my goals is to go in and get my commons to level 8 and to level my rares up from level whatever they are to like level 4 or 5, whatever the max is for gold, you know. So it's one of my goals as well. Land 1.5 by Thanksgiving. Darkest Night might be right about Land 2024. Hey, Virus, thanks for dropping by. You know, that's a good question, Gathering, and I really hate to speculate because a lot of the videos, we're left with speculation, right? That's about all we can do. I guess what I can say is that, who knows, right? I was going to say right before the big upheaval and change in how everything's working now, I was going to say it should be out, you know, before Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, but he's changed his priorities. I can completely see why he did it from a business standpoint. From a landowner standpoint, it kind of, you know, it kind of perturbs me because it was pushed off again. But I also completely fall into the category of agreeing that when Land 1.5 releases, as we've been talking about, everybody's been doing videos about it and discussing it, it needs to be solid. There can't be any functional breaks. Otherwise, there's going to be somebody that jumps on it and exploits the hell out of it. And we can't have that. So I agree that my thought process is that it needs to be functionally correct and there needs to be no major flaws to it by the time it's released. And if that takes extra time, I mean, think about it. We've already been waiting years at this point. So what's a few more months? That's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth, you know. How do you get access to the MAV server? How many packs do you need to buy? And is there a way to see how many total packs you have bought? They were discussing this the other day, and all I can say on this matter is that it has not changed to my knowledge. Matt did say that he thinks it possibly should change, so basically more people have access to the MAV server. I don't know. Virus may be able to answer that. I don't know because I've never been high enough level, bought enough packs or whatever to be able to be on the MAV server. I do drop into their chat in Discord once in a while just to see what they're talking about, but it's not something that I get into much because those guys generally, men and women, are looking at the game from a much different prerogative than I am. And I do try to keep up on it because whenever I put out informational videos, I kind of try to want to look at it from everybody's point of view, right? Ghostly says it's 1,000 packs of any major release set. So that's a lot of packs, and I for sure have never bought that many packs. I think the most packs I've bought is Chaos Legion, and probably maybe 250 at this point. I'm reserving 125 just to keep them for posterity's sake if they ever go up in value, which I don't know, maybe they will. Who knows? But I've never gotten up to 1,000. And a lot of those packs I bought on the secondary market, taking advantage of the prices. With that in mind, take a look at, if you haven't lately, what the prices are on the packs. Because once again, going back to my value argument, right? Less than $1 US for a Chaos Legion pack. And I was thinking about this and talking about this with my brother this past week. I'm like, think about all those people that bought, you know, thousands of packs at the $4 or $5 range, right? When they were originally, you know, the pre-sale and directly thereafter. How much of a loss was involved there? I don't know. It'd be interesting to hear from a person that bought a huge amount of Chaos Legion packs during the pre-sale and kind of do an extrapolation and see what their opinion is. Obviously, did they get enough value in, reselling the packs and getting the airdrops and such like that it was worth it? I don't know. I can't say because I wasn't in that number. Geeked Out Basketball, nice. I thought 1,000 Rift Watchers packs. I bought 1,000 Rift Watcher packs. How do I get access? Geeked Out Basketball, I don't know. That's a good thing to look into. You may want to contact Matt or the team, one of the teammates members on. You may want to ask in Mav chat on the Mav. I'm looking at Discord right now. If you may want to ask in the Mav channel, Maverick's house, and one of them may have an answer for you. But it probably involves talking to Matt or one of the team to get you in there, or whoever manages that. So I think I have only ever bought 150 packs or so total. Bought a lot off of Hive, so they don't count. Yeah, most of the packs I've bought have been off the secondary market as the prices have gone down, because I'm a sucker for a good value, right? And I see a good value, as we've all talked about. Chaos Legion is still a great set for play. I think, comparatively speaking, going back to the weighting and the overall where the set sits and play value, I think the major play value of Chaos Legion exists in that the 1 to 50 mana play matches. Above that, there are a few cards within the set that exist for higher mana matches, but I think that they saw the weakness there, and they tried to start filling in higher mana cards going forward in Rift Watchers, and I think we'll see some big old tank cards. Obviously, we saw in the last few airdrop cards in Rift Watchers that they're going big mana, and they're trying to fill in, the higher the mana. I always hated getting like a 99 mana match and then only being able to field like, 50 or 60, right? So let's see here. You don't, Ghostly says you don't get access for Rift Watchers packs. It's a mini set. Oh, that's interesting. So it has to be a major release. I think you need to ask a mod in the Discord somewhere. Rift Watcher packs were sold by the DAO. Only packs sold by the company counted up to now, at least. They might change that now that the proceeds are shared. It wouldn't hurt to ask, right? Because Matt did say, I don't think anything's been changed, but Matt did say he was looking at possibly changing that. Obviously, everything's on the board right now because everything's in flux. He's changing everything. Let's hope for the better. I couldn't see a reason why it wouldn't be more helpful to have people in the MAV group for testing and such, right? So more people testing, the better, in my opinion. Obviously, there's more to that group than just being able to test, but I think the MAV group in and of itself is supposed to kind of be the group that has the most staked in the game, or the most money spent, whatever it may be. That's what it's supposed to look like. I don't know, my guess. Also, if you haven't registered your Discord account with the Splinterlands account, you bought the 1,000 packs on. Okay, good to note. Any new alpha card pickups this week? Yes, and I'm glad you asked, because I crossed a line this week. Okay, if you haven't been keeping up, I have been buying one alpha card a week, one BCX, just because I'm a card collector, right? And the line I crossed this week is the fact that I crossed over into epics. I've got one of each common, one of each rare in alpha, and now my first epic I've bought is the Naga Warrior. And it's interesting because I started looking at the epics now that I'm getting into, and there are a lot of cards I have never really even played with. you know, because alpha, you know, was kind of out of my price range when I first started a couple years ago, so I didn't really concentrate on them. I concentrated on beta really, and have several beta and, you know, going forward, but I had not really looked at the alphas a whole lot. So doing this, yeah, so I'm in the epics now, and the epics currently look, and I'm talking for one BCX of each, are in the 5 to 10 to 12 US dollars per BCX. So I think I'll be able to get through the epics. Now I started to look at the legendaries, and that might be where I have to cut off, because the legendaries are in the 50 to 60 US dollars per BCX, but there's some cool cards. Especially, you know, with my naming convention, Dragon, Bronze Dragon. I love dragons. But if we go into, just as kind of a side conversation here, I wanted to look at the legendaries. There are some cool dragons in alpha. But as you can see, not cheap. So we're talking about $45, $50. And then you have Selena Sky up here at $145. Which, interestingly enough, +1, I really, other than the collector's value of this, I don't know why it's $150, $155, because it just gives you +1 to range. But it's a cool card. Definitely probably won't end up in my collection. But who knows? Chromatic Dragon. Love my dragons. It's a weakness of mine from playing Dungeons and Dragons. Gold Dragon. This would be a nice tank, especially in Magic only, right? You got flying, you got healing. Anything with healing and flying is going to be nice, especially in Magic only. And if you were able to pick up a level 3, you would have Blast. Yeah, side tangent there. Let's see. Let me catch up. Let me get a drink of water here for a minute. Yeah, just going to go back here. So the epics, these are the epics I was looking at. And if you can see this, they're all between like 5 and 11 US dollars. So I started with the lowest one, and we'll be working our way up through there. I'll probably be able to get through the epics, but then the legendaries will probably be where I have to cut off unless I find some kind of fantastic deal. Let's see where I'm at here. Gathering says, I need to start working on an alpha set with prices so low. Only 10 cards above $10 is crazy. Yeah, it's kind of what we were just talking about with the yeah, you can basically get through epics, almost through epics, under $10 per BCX at this point. So if you're a collector, also I will note that there are several cool alpha and beta cards that are really good in wild, that you didn't see after alpha and beta, right? So if you're playing wild and you want to mix it up, look at those alphas and betas. So they are pricey, but if you're playing on bronze or silver, it might not be too bad, right? So Dawn Keep, I think you are new to the stream. Thanks for dropping by. I appreciate your time. Thanks for dropping by to talk about some Magic or Golem Overlord, whatever. I watch you Gathering the Magic and After Sound regularly. Thank you for Splinterlands content. Yes, I watch Gathering all the time too. As I started off before I even had a channel, I was watching. He was one of the main ones I was watching, along with the other standards, like you said, After Sound and Dwayne. So. Let's see here. Wait a couple years and the alpha legendaries will be in the $200 to $400 range. Just my opinion based on rarity and future demand. Now, I would tend to agree with that, provided the game stays around. That's the one inkling in the back of my mind. Now, I know everybody's going to jump on me, but I always try to be practical about these type of judgments. I love collecting cards, and I think if you've ever played Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, or anything like that, these old cards, the alphas, the first versions of whatever card game you're playing, do tend to go up in value, right? The one major obstacle we have here is that the difference between physical cards, which you can always keep, and cards online is that if for some reason, and we've been discussing this a lot, because this is one of the things that I don't really like about the current situation of Splinterlands. And let me explain. One of the things I don't like is the fact that we, as consumers and customers, always it seems to be are always worried about and talking about how we can subsidize and keep the Splinterlands Steam Monsters company working. I don't really like that aspect. Obviously, you need to buy stuff from the company and hope that it does better and everything. But at this point, all these thousands of dollars that we've spent, and everybody's in a different boat, right? Some people are a lot more than I. But at this point, if I had to guess, I probably spent at least $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. I don't know at this point, right? I haven't kept track. I'm not one of those guys that keeps a ledger, right? I know at certain points I've spent enough to get that eye from my wife, and if you know about that eye, you know what I mean about my purchases, and pulled back at some points. But I just don't like the idea of having to worry about it being around and the company being around, because let's face it, all this money that we've spent on this game, and I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but all this money, if the company goes under, poof. Just saying that. Okay. But if it stays going, it's got a nice track record so far, right? If it stays going, then yes, I do anticipate the alphas and betas going up. That's why I'm buying some. And there are some, interestingly enough, that are being played on my secondary account once in a while by the bot that I intend on probably raising the level past 1 just for play perspective, right? So there's some cool ones. I mean, look at these. We got epics, and we can look at those, but let's see here. You guys keep Splinterlands spirit alive. We were quite grim before the Rebellion news. Yeah, I do agree that the Rebellion kind of picked up the mood and got people kind of reinvigorated. Less than 500 of each legendary is crazy how low print rate is. I agree on that too. A lot of people don't drop back and think about the rarity. You know, look, we're looking at legendaries here, and you see only 10, 14, less than 20. Well, this is the highest one at 27 copies of Naga Warrior. And those are only well, some of them are multiple BCX, right? But most of them are only single BCX. Okay, good argument though. I agree. The best days are ahead for Splinterlands. Those that have stayed the course and kept on forging will reap the benefits. Enjoy the game and have fun. I agree. I mean, I agree that the changes that were made seem to be very logical from a business perspective, right? In fact, I'm looking forward to hearing from Aggie and what he's doing on his side of the house. I hope that he starts up a show, it could be once a month or whatever, to discuss what he's doing on his side of the house. I'm really looking forward to that because I think there's a lot of potential on that side of the house, right? But I think the business choices they've made have been sound. So, and I like the ideas that Matt's coming out with, right? So let's see. I rented gold foil alpha cards when I started my $10 account. They helped me tremendously. That's interesting because I can see that obviously playing with gold foils helps out a little bit, but I never saw that the price you pay to rent. But, the prices have really come down for rental, so that helped out a lot. But the exorbitant price to rent gold foils or buy them, I didn't think that you would really get that back. But with the prices being so low to rent, I mean, if you're in the position where you're new to the game, I would definitely agree that if you're going in and choosing cards to rent, you should be checking the gold foils, the prices, as well as the regular foils, because a lot of times the gold foils are no less or no more expensive than regular foils per level when you get in there. Sometimes you get in there and you're like, hey, it's cheaper to rent level 4 gold foil something rather than the standard foil. So it's always worth checking. Harry Larry McNary in the house. Thanks, man. Thanks for dropping by. Let's see. Thanks for joining us, Harry Larry. I have sold a lot of my Magic the Gathering cards to get funds for buying cards, SPS, land here, and I don't regret it one bit. Excited for the future. I kind of mentioned this in a few different videos that one of the hard things that is present when you collect physical cards is the actual act of buying and selling and trading. Now, if you have a local store where you can go down and there's a lot of people that hang out and play and everything, you can trade. And if you want to accept the buy-sell value of the store is going to give, which is like 50%, maybe 40% of what you could sell it for, on YouTube, not YouTube, but eBay or something rather, then you can go ahead and sell that. Obviously, the stores are having a tough time these days staying in business, so they got to make a dime, right? And I don't even like selling on eBay anymore due to the fees involved, due to all the people cheating you and everything. So, like I said, that's one of the reasons I really like Splinterlands and jumped on board with it, because all those issues, poof. If you want to buy a card, jump on the market. Jump on Peak Monsters, buy your card. If you want to sell a card, it's just as easy, right? So those those facts right there are what drew me to Splinterlands. But going back to what I was saying earlier, haven't done a lot in Splinterlands this week. I've been keeping my eye on land. And land commons are kind of sitting in that $30 range. I was looking at it directly right before, let's do a refresh, right before the show. And lately, this last week, we've seen them kind of fluctuate between $29 and $31, $32 there. I'm still looking for land plots in my two particular regions that I might jump on. And they're at that price range where I'm kind of like, if I see one pop up, I might just buy a common just to have it for going forward, right? Because I think way back when land first got released, when you could first go ahead and claim it and everything, I thought and I said that they would probably be in the $20 to $30 range, commons that is. So obviously, we've got a lot of speculation going on due to what's happening in the game, land 1.5 being pushed back, but I'm still pretty bullish on land. I like the whole idea of land, where it's going, and I think they've been doing a little bit more talking about land 2.0. No facts, but a little bit of alpha here and there. So I'm really kind of thinking that if land starts getting in that $25 range, I might start picking up a few more plots just to have. I might not stake those out to start with. I might go in and I'm set up with my 10 plots to go ahead and stake them out, but I'm really kind of looking more at the rares and the epics. So rares are sitting at $41 now, depending upon, like I said, which region you want to go in. And you can even get an epic for under $100 now. Like I said, depending upon where you want to go. So been keeping an eye on the land. I've also been kind of preparing for the pack pre-sales, which are going to start Monday. I think I've pulled back from the idea of buying 100 packs. And I know there's a few of you on here that are buying a lot more than me, and that's fine. That's great. But I still say that you need to be prepared for whatever you're going to get into. I did buy vouchers, which let's take before they started going up. Let's go ahead and do a refresh here. Obviously, you've probably been keeping an eye on this, but DEC has went up. Look at this, 91 cents per thousand. Vouchers way up as well, although it does look like it's going off the cliff a little bit. We're still up to 0.035. SPS looks like it's even doing a little rebound there as well. So all good things and all what we wanted to see. Obviously, we saw the vouchers kick up and DEC kick up immediately after they announced the pack pre-sales, due to you're going to have DEC and you're going to have vouchers, to buy them. So that's why I went in and bought enough vouchers. I bought 100. I might have bought more, but I bought enough. No, I bought 500 because you would need 5 vouchers for each pack, right? So I bought 500 vouchers. I think that the value is going to stay up there, especially as they're coming out with more things to do with vouchers. So that's a good thing, especially people who are holding a lot of vouchers or who have a node and have been accumulating these. So, okay, went off on my tangent there, as I do sometimes. I sell on CardSphere. Great site. Have not looked at that. I might have to take a look at that, Gathering. Do you check DEC amounts daily and let out a yippee when it goes down a significant amount? It's a daily guilty pleasure of mine. Not necessarily. Well, I do check out these values on a daily basis, and most days I check multiple times per day. I don't really let out an audible. I do like the fact that that everything's going well. At this point, vouchers and DEC are going up. I'm looking forward to SPS actually taking a good hike up. Obviously, that's what we've been talking about, right? And that's been the goals of a lot of these game mechanics that they've put into place. Now, with that said, would I mind if DEC went down a little bit and I could grab some more? No, because I don't think that I have enough. Obviously, I have enough to work with my land and stake it out, but I'll need some more, depending upon how many card packs I end up buying in the pre-sale. I'll need some more for that. So I didn't want to buy DEC when it was on the leg up, right? I would prefer to buy on a leg down, obviously. Buy low, sell high, right? Also, thoughts on recent 3 mil spike in DEC amount. Saw on Mavs where it was thought a bot farm burned cards. Not sure if that's true. This is new to me, but I don't have any facts on that, so I cannot comment on that other than to say it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if, from a logical standpoint, you can see that DEC is on the leg up, sitting at 91 cents per thousand. It wouldn't surprise me if a big account burned a lot of cards to take advantage of that and try to get out. I don't know. I converted all my DEC to vouchers. We'll see how that goes. Expecting a voucher pump next week for the pre-sale. Yeah, I had seen your video where you talked about that, and it's very interesting. We have already seen a big pump, so basically you're foreseeing a bigger pump, and I could get behind that. I mean, I'm not a significant holder of vouchers. This week's the first time I've bought any vouchers, and the primary reason is to, kind of get ready for the pack pre-sale. But I think that they're both pumping vouchers and DEC for the same reason. Now, the question is, will it hold? Will it hold long enough for land 1.5 to come out and then kind of keep it up there? Who knows? I mean, anything is speculation, right? We've seen this in past where certain coins will pump right before a release, and then after that they go back down. So hopefully all of these mechanics changes and everything going into the game recently, and with Matt's decision, hopefully everything will stay up and go to where DEC, obviously we wanted it $1 per thousand, and after that then you have to start burning SPS, which is that proverbial flywheel, which I kind of hate hearing that word because everybody uses it so much, but once that kicks in, then we should see SPS go up. Who knows? How much of the pre-sale do you think gets sold? I think 500,000 available. I'm hoping at least 200 to 300,000. Now, somebody had did a video. I think it was Aftersound. He always does very good videos about looking at the numbers and speculating. And he did a very solid analysis where it showed that he looked at what people were saying that they were going to buy, the top percentages of people that they were going to buy, and he could easily see that first 100,000. I think that was the takeaway from that video. The first 100,000 of that being, I'm not saying for sure. Obviously, people can change their mind at any point in time, but it kind of looking like 100,000. That is. I don't know. I don't know, to tell you the truth, because there's so much speculation going on and there's so many people changing their opinion of buying pre-sales. Just look at me, okay? And I'm on a very small scale, right? Immediately when they announced it, I'm like, I'm going to get 100 packs to get those extra 5%, extra 5 packs or whatever. And then I even started talking to my brother. Hey, do you want to do the 500, which would kick me up to having to do 250 packs, right? And then I started looking at the costs, and I'm like, I can't afford to do that, right? I can't really explain that to my wife, and it's not really that. It's just that it's a huge cost, right? And then I started thinking about, well, why would I do that? Okay, well, the primary reason is to buy the packs and stake them on the new war wagons or whatever they call them, right? To be able to get your airdrops, okay? Now, in the past, and I can't really draw a good comparison because this is going to be a completely different system, right? But in the past, even if you bought 100 or 200 or 500 packs, your percentage of getting an airdrop was pretty small. Right? So I'm thinking that even if I went ahead and bought 100 packs, my chance of getting an airdrop would just be very, very small, having those staked, right? So, I went through this whole thought process of how I should do that. And in the end, I'm thinking that for us small card pack buyers and stakers, it's going to be the same thing, the same result. Even if you bought, 50 or 100 packs and you stake them, it might be a very, very small chance of getting in the airdrop. So that leads me to believe that my original statement of how I've went about it up to this point, being that it's kind of like the argument about buying packs. If you are building your deck, it's better just to buy singles. In this case, if you're going to buy packs and stake them, and you're not going to buy, say, 1,000 packs or something or other, it may just be better and more money efficient just to wait until the cards hit the market and just buy them. Like, let's take a look at, let's go off of Alpha here, and let's go at Rift Watchers and do legendaries. Now, I just know this for certain because I didn't get a C-Rec airdrop in Rift Watchers because I've bought very few packs of Rift Watchers. I ended up, my brother's birthday was the other day. I bought him a level 2 C-Rec for his deck, which he's had really good luck with up to this point playing. But it was much cheaper spending $15 on 1 BCX of a C-Rec than it was, buying 100 packs and hoping for one, right? So let's see here. So I guess to make that argument even longer, it would be just a guess. I could easily see, because Aftersound gave some logical arguments, I could easily see 100 to 150,000 selling. More than that, who knows? Because as we know, all it takes is a few whales to jump on board and grab up a bunch of packs. We've seen things in the past that sold out really fast, right? Especially pack sales when they get down towards the end and people get that FOMO, right? Think it will all sell the first day. Whales will want the promos. So Gathering's going on the books saying he thinks a 500,000 going to sell out on the first day. If you ask me, would that surprise me? No, it wouldn't surprise me. I do intend on buying some just to get a little bit in that pre-sale. I'm not going to go overboard, but it wouldn't surprise me if it sold out, but who knows at this point. Gathering says the whales will want the promos. So there's the promos again. They both look like good solid cards, but I think Gathering did the numbers in a video of his this last week, and the numbers are going to be really low on these cards, right? So even if, going back to my argument, wait until they hit the market, they're going to be pretty expensive, right? Some cards are still selling below peg burn value. There will be a burning spike of cards when you reach peg. Yeah, we've talked about that before. I haven't seen it. I'm not one that goes through and specifically looks at cards to buy and burn. So I do know there are some out there, and it's all fluid, and you would have to, I guess that to me kind of is very similar to being a penny stock buyer. You have to be consistently searching the what's for sale. And to that matter, you would probably, if you did that, you would probably have a bot doing that for you, whether you programmed it or not. It's kind of like having a bot that buys and trades for you stocks. So Virus continues, and he agrees. Think the sellout. It wouldn't surprise me, guys. It would not surprise me. In my mind, it's still very amazing. In value considerations aside, it's just still amazing how somebody can put down $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 on buying packs, because that's just not where I sit in life, having that much. I'm not poor, right? I have a good job. I'm blessed. I have food to eat, have a truck to drive, but I'm not blessed enough to be able to spend $5,000, $10,000 on packs, right? So it's still amazing. Will it surprise me? No, because things happen in this game all the time that surprise me. So Gathering says he's going to try for 50. That will probably be where I land. That will probably be where I land as well. So we only have a few minutes left, so I do want to take a few minutes to talk about Golem Overlord, because this is, with all the other Splinterlands stuff going on, I've been spending a lot of time on Golem Overlord this week, because as you know, if you've been keeping up and if you play, Yixn's Trinkets went live this last week, and that brought a few extra things to the game. I've also, if you're in my guild, we've also leveled up this week, and we've also instituted a 1% donation from everybody in the guild to help level further, because the objective is to level up and get a bigger claim bonus for everybody. So that's happened, but there's a lot of new game mechanics that I'm really liking, that Yixn is moving the game forward. Mainly this week been working on a module. I do need to go ahead and unequip this module and try to level it up, because it's been stated that getting the quality from -1 to 0 will help out the stats. Now, after you try to increase the quality more than that, it's negligible, and sometimes you get a stat buff and sometimes you don't. But I basically just wanted to say that I'm really liking. There's this whole period of time where between when the game came out and now, that I really didn't do much in it other than just to do my claims and kind of buff my different stats and everything like that. I am seeing, I'm kind of playing catch up now with Prestige. I am Prestige 9, working on Prestige 10, but I didn't catch that early enough. I think that the main thing you want to be doing in this game is burning for reputation to get that prestige, because the prestige gives you so much extra buffs on your different stats here that it makes it really worth it. Obviously, Also increasing your banked scavenger golems, increasing the number of them so you can be bringing more in, also really helps. And taking advantage of how many ever attacks you have. So Gathering says, I'm fine with bumping the guild percentage to 2%. Yeah, I wanted to take a look at that, and I wanted to get a full day in to kind of see what we were looking at as far as the claim. What it really looks like is that where we're going to be lacking is in the shards, because as you can see, this is we've got about 4 hours left to make 24 hours, and we've brought in about 343 and then 1 shard. So obviously with the amount we need to bring in, we're going to need to have people donate shards, really. And it's a fine line here, because I want to play the game and I want to have fun with everybody. I don't want to be one of those guild masters that's like, hey, give me all your money, right? But if we get the increase in guild level, everybody will be rewarded. So as you can see, let's go back to the bunker. Our next level will go from 1 to 2%, and then it'll be another 2 levels, and then we can get to 3%, and then 4, 5, and 6%, which will take a huge amount, but everybody will benefit from it, right? So if you haven't played Golem Overlord, it's not like I get paid for this or anything. I think it's going in the right. Oh, you've sent 200 shards. Thank you very much. We'll put that to good use. If you don't know, if you're not into Golem Overlord, if you donate to the guild, and I hope you don't leave, but if you do leave, you take half of whatever you donated to level the guild up. So there's always that. But I do think the game is moving in a positive direction. I think at certain points he gets in kind of a development mode, and he just develops a lot and puts a lot into the game, and then we're stuck trying to figure out. Sometimes it's hard with this mass amount of information, and I've been pinging him once in a while, and it's very easy to see. It's kind of one of those things where if you're sitting in front of something and developing something, and it makes very much sense to you, right? Because you're working with it on a daily basis. But then when other people see it, it's not exactly makes a lot of sense. I'll give you a good example. Okay, so if you come to this page and you're looking for your airdrops, it doesn't say anything about airdrops, but you would have to go into the Yixn's trinkets and look for this little plane with your airdrops points up here, and that's what you click on to get your airdrops. Like I said, it's very clear to him, but it's not clear to most everybody else where you would go to claim your airdrops, right? I like Golem Overlord. It is addictive like Cookie Clicker, but not so much micromanagement. It also has that potential that it is around when the bull run happens and could explode. I agree. I've always liked the burn mechanisms. He's always very strong on the burn. Almost everything in this game that you do has a burn mechanism built in, and some of it's a lot of burn mechanisms. So it's very he just instituted I don't talk about the liquidity pools a lot because I'm not the guy to talk about liquidity pools, but he just instituted a shard liquidity pool, and he's starting a shard buyback to increase the cost or increase the value of shards. Let's look at the statistics. I know if you're here just to talk about Splinterlands, this might be a little bit boring, but that's why I left it until the end. But you'll see that for part, only 1% of the supply of part is circulating. 2% is staked. 97% of the part that's been made in this game has been burned. So there's really, to me, there's no other game that's done this. And just looking at the other stats, the stats on Shard, 66% is circulating and 34% is burned. Now, this is because up until recently, there hasn't been a whole lot to do with Shard. So recently, with the Yixn's trinkets and everything, he's instituted some burn mechanisms and such. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and reference my last couple videos because I explain it. But it's kind of like in Splinterlands where they're giving vouchers more use case now. That's what he's doing with Shard. And going forward to the new game modes, that's why, I tell you the truth, I've been buying Shard a little bit at a time this week, because as soon as the trinkets dropped, I immediately saw how much Shard you're going to have to pay, especially just one example, just to identify an item. It's huge, right? So that also goes into the statement I'll make before we call it here at the bottom of the hour, is that I think I'm going to buy a little bit more Shard, and this is not investment advice, but I do see Shard going up due to what he's doing in the game. And I also see the value when you go on the store to search, go on the market to search for your different items, because I did increase my background to an exceptional this week because it goes from 2.53% up to 5.5, and then if you go up to invaluable, it goes up to 10% of anything that would increase your shard earning. I think that's going to be of value here. And let's go back. And what we're talking there is making your background better and also increasing your golem charging station, right? As well as increasing your level through, guess what I was just talking about, prestige. And these are all just hard-earned knowledge from playing, right? So I'm thinking of buying part and beefing up my account. It is passive income even with the low price. I'm bullish on the game. I don't make any money. He doesn't pay me anything. I do like the fact that it's kind of a one-man operation. I think he might have a couple people helping him, but I like where he's went with being able to do how much he's been able to do as one guy, especially with the new AI artwork. You'll see that this background I was lucky enough to draw in a Yixn's trinket crate. It is graphics only. In other words, it does not give me any stats, but it's cool. It's one of the moving backgrounds. So anyway, enough talking from me. Thanks for dropping by, everybody. I hope you have a good week and that you are ready for the pack pre-sales, because there's several people here, especially Virus and Gathering. Virus is much more into the situation than I am, so I'll take his word on it. It would not surprise me if the card pack pre-sales sell out. So I would say get your ducks in a row, have a plan for Monday or Tuesday when it drops, whenever it starts, and buy what you're going to buy, right? So why go past Prestige 9 besides experience future utility? That's a good question, and I'll have to look into it because I was wondering about it too. But and he says that there is a point of diminishing returns, and the only way I'm going to know is once I hit level 10 and be able to look at the numbers. So I do know that prestiging up to level 9 or 10 gets you a lot of bonuses. So I've learned that, and I was kind of on the tail end and having to play catch up. So that's why I've been burning a ton in reputation lately. So we'll take a look at it, and we can, if I take a look at it and if I get an answer for your question, then I'll do a little video on it. So keep your eyes out, and we'll continue to go. If you're in the guild, please pay attention to guild chat. Leave your opinions and things we're talking about. If you want to play Golem Overlord and you're not currently, it's a great time to get in. let me know. I do have a link in my other past 2 videos on Golem Overlord where you can use my link and become a member. It doesn't cost you anything extra. And let me know also if you want to join the guild, because we just leveled and we have 3 slots open. So with that said, thanks for dropping by. I do, let's see, Virus says 10 doesn't give a stat bonus, I don't think. I'll have to take a look at it. Ghostly says I'm going to hit level 10 and stop. So good point. I'll have to take a look at it, and you may be right. So we'll talk about it later. Otherwise, thanks for dropping by. This has been Bronze Dragon. I hope your next week goes great, and I will see you on the flip side.